If you've been watching my videos for a while, you would probably have some crazy idea that I am absolutely obsessed with Nanotyrannus. I mean, when I started out on YouTube, I did a lot of videos like debates and stuff like that. Really simple, rough ideas on talking about what Nanotyrannus is. I guess I find it bizarre that we've known about Nanotyrannus for a while and there's this big debate on whether Nanotyrannus is a valid genus or not. And I find that really interesting. From everything I've seen, it appears that this debate has evidence to support both sides, to support Nanotyrannus being a valid genus or being a young T-Rex. The great thing about this video is that for the first time I'm able to compare a tooth that is thought to belong to Nanotyrannus with a tooth that belongs to Tyrannosaurus Rex. And when you see them together, you see that there is an obvious difference in their structure. Tyrannosaurus has a very thick, robust tooth, and Nanotyrannus has this very blade-like tooth. Recently, we had two specimens that we could research to help us understand what Nanotyrannus is, but then the Montana fighting dinosaurs was discovered, and it would appear that the theropod represents the genus Nanotyrannus. Personally, when I first heard of Nanotyrannus, I did think that maybe it was a young T-Rex. I mean, the idea of it growing and changing over its lifetime didn't seem that difficult to understand. But then, when I heard that the brain structure and the shape and the position was totally different to that of an adult T-Rex, then I started doubting that this could possibly be a young Tyrannosaurus. But now, I'm a lot more open-minded. And that's important for science, is to have an open mind. But it's also important to argue what you believe with evidence. When I started off my Your Question series, I talked about Nanotyrannus in my first video at the very beginning. And I was saying that there was evidence to suggest that Nanotyrannus was definitely its own genus. But really, the information I got from that was basically the opinions of certain paleontologists and what they had heard and what they've seen of the case anyway. So in that sense, I didn't do a brilliant job in stating that the evidence was more of the opinions of different paleontologists. But it surprised me a little because I was expecting that there would be some kind of new, fresh paper or research on Nanotyrannus, and there isn't. I mean, that is really surprising. I mean, I thought by now there would have been something that would have been released by now on the research of Nanotyrannus, but at the moment we're still having to wait for that. But what I think is absolutely amazing is the fact that this Nanotyrannus debate has become even more complicated because we've got dinosaurs, specimens of dinosaurs anyway, that could represent young T-Rexes. We've got a dinosaur called Tinker. We've got a dinosaur called Jane, which people have been arguing actually represents a Nanotyrannus and it isn't a young T-Rex. And then we've got Nanotyrannus, which appears to be different from Jane. Whether it's valid or not is still something that we're having to wait to find out, really. But I think, really, looking at what's been discovered and knowing how different Nanotyrannus is, or at least the growth stages of T-Rex, I think that it's going to be absolutely incredible when we finally get an idea of what Nanotyrannus really is.